Hey guys, it's Eddie and today I am back with another movie review for you all. Now today's movie that I'll be reviewing has recently been released. I saw it a couple of days ago in the cinema with my friends, and it is the final installment in the Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, and it is War for the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Andy Serkis, Woody Harrelson and Steve Zahn. Now, in this film, the final installment, I guess. I don't really know anything about where the franchise is intending to head after this one, but I presume, this is the last one in the trilogy, and if it was a very fitting end, let me just say that. But in this film, Caesar, our beloved sort of king of the apes, our leader, is forced to come face to face in conflict with the human colonel, played by Woody Harrelson, in order to secure protection and safety for his sort of family and band of apes. But unfortunately, as the title suggests, it's not an easy ride, and Caesar and his friends have to suffer awful losses in order to get there. Now, what immediately jumped out to me when I watched this film was Andy Serkis and his performance as Caesar. Now, beneath the CGI technology that's masking him in this film, if you sort of lift that layer and you forget about the fact that, that he had CGI dots on his face in order to make this creature come to life, his performance is undeniably fantastic. The layers of pain and agony in his performance as Caesar can be just automatically and, so deeply felt by the audience. And the CGI sort of shrouding him doesn't stop us from watching the film and recognising his achievements in bringing such a really complex and, well-layered and deep character to life. Obviously, we followed Caesar from the beginning in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and to still hold that devotion to a character is evident in this film, as is with Andy Serkis's portrayal of Caesar. We can see how much he's giving in this performance, and I think you have to look past the CGI really to remember to recognise the achievement that Andy Serkis has given us as Caesar. I think that he's such a fantastic character, and we really wouldn't have gotten this level of depth with this leader of the apes without Andy Serkis at the helm. And, behind the CGI, he really allowed this character to be brought to life. And in this installment, it's absolutely no different. And I think that, it was really amazing to see him in this role again. He's just such a fantastic actor. And I think sometimes we forget, obviously, because of the way he acts, the way he, uses CGI in his performances a lot of the time, but that cannot take away from the fact that he is a stunning actor, and his portrayal of Caesar is absolutely immense in my opinion. What I also liked about this film is that it took you in directions you did not expect, apart from a few, shall we say, inevitabilities regarding the film. Obviously, we know that there's going to be conflict between the humans and the apes, that kind of thing. Apart from a few inevitabilities, predictability was completely thrown out the window in this film. For example, from the title of the film, the automatic human reaction is to think this film is just going to be constant conflict between the apes and humans. And actually, as people will find out if they watch the film, that it's not as easy as that. It's not as straightforward as that. It's not as basic as that. There are certain nuances in this film that really take you in different directions, and you really do not know what is going to happen over the course of this film, because it really diverts you, and it exceeds expectations, I think. It doesn't just go with the basic premise of, you know, conflict between humans and apes. It's far more layered than that, and that's something that I didn't expect with this film, but I certainly appreciated. And I think that, you know, you can think what you want about these films being reboots of the original sort of Planet of the Apes 1968 film, and the fact that they are sort of an expanded universe regarding this, regarding the first film. But you know, the way they have expanded the universe and the detail that has been put into the characters and the history behind the conflict between apes and humans, and obviously the apes rising, is fantastic. I think it's so interesting, and this film did even more, I think, to add to this sort of very interesting, detailed history, this film sort of fictional history that has been presented to us with the story of Caesar and the apes. And as I said, say what you will about the series, but if you take this film as a separate entity and you take it as a standalone film, I still think it's absolutely fantastic. The visual effects are stunning, and the acting, I think, is something that really shines in this film. Some of the scenes, for example, that are just between Woody Harrelson's character and Andy Serkis's Caesar, when they sort of face off and Woody Harrelson is giving his monologues about what's happened to his character and how this sort of war and the conflict has affected him. It's just fantastic to watch, and you actually forget about the visual effects. You forget about the fact that, you know, these are the majority of these characters are actors with dots on their face, and, you know, this is just heavily constructed CGI. It feels incredibly raw, it feels incredibly real, and I think that's just testament to the writing and to the characters that have been created in this franchise. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and it allows this series to end on a really tender and poignant note that I think is fitting of the characters like Caesar that we've watched grow and expand and develop throughout the series. And I think it's just great. I mean, I think if you go online and, you know, you watch the TV, you can see that this film is getting rather glowing reviews, and I have to say that what I have to say about this film just adds to what is being said. I really can't deny the fact that this was a really fantastic ending and conclusion to what has been, I think, a really surprising and excellent trilogy. It's one of those films where you don't mind too much about the CGI. I'm one of those people that is getting incredibly bored of films that rely too heavily on CGI. I feel like films like The Avengers are the only films where I can actually deal with excessive CGI, because, you know, we're getting films nowadays where there's barely any real sets or actors, and it's tiring me at this point. But this film felt, you know, it didn't feel the same, and I think that's because you knew that there were people that truly worked very hard on these characters, like people like Andy Serkis, obviously, as Caesar. You knew it just wasn't, you know, just a bit of CGI fun. It felt very, very purposeful, and it felt very poignant, and that's why I think it really consumed my emotions to the point where I didn't care. I didn't care anymore that, you know, there was a heavy amount or copious amount of visual effects being used, because those that were used were absolutely beautiful. I think we've reached a point where, you know, the visual effects that are being used are undeniably stunning, and in this film they were used to be constructive and to be purposeful, and they came off as just absolutely beautiful. You were watching this film and your eyes were wide with awe because of the characters that were being constructed through CGI, like Caesar, like Maurice, and you know, characters like that were just stunning, but they had their own personalities, they had their own traits, and so the CGI didn't feel copious or, you know, too much, and that's something that I I really appreciated about this film. This film was moving to the point of being heartbreaking at times. That's something I have to say about this film. For a film to evoke such emotions in me that I felt when I was watching this film, you know, I have to give full testament to the actors and the writers and the director for because I feel like a film that does that is a really special film, and I feel like this film was special. And as I said, it was a really moving and yet also very thrilling and exciting conclusion to a fantastic series. So I have to say overall that I felt this film was a triumph. I feel like it may be my favourite in the trilogy, but that may just be my judgment being skewed for having watched it so recently and still kind of being bowled over by it. So that may change, but at the moment I feel like it's my favourite out of all of them currently. And obviously, following Caesar's whole story, it's definitely a fitting tribute to the rest of the series, and obviously I don't know where it's going to go from here, but if that is the end, it was a fantastic end, and it had beautiful effects, fantastic acting, and yeah, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. And even as a standalone film, it can't really be knocked, I feel, because it's just such an enjoyable experience when you're watching it, because of the characters and of the effects. It's fantastic. So if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it 5 out of 5 stars. I know that probably sounds generous, but it's really one of the first films I've watched recently that has been a new release where I can say, yeah, I really was blown away by it, and I think I really was. So thanks for watching this review, guys. I would thoroughly encourage you to go and see this film. I think it's a great experience, and even if you're not a fan of the films as a whole, you'll enjoy this experience, because I feel like it's just a visual, emotional experience, this film. But yeah, and probably sound like I'm being too generous, but that's just me. You can disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. That's just my opinion. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. You can always request movies for me to review by commenting below or messaging me on my Tumblr. Link is always in the description. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next review. Bye.